to support this motion on the consideration of the Public Finance Management, the National Peace Support Operations Fund regulations of 2023. Honorable Speaker, all the speakers that have spoken before me talk about the accolades of our disciplined men and women. We talk about how our defense forces is one of the most celebrated forces in the world because of their efficiency, of their discipline. We have seen quite a number of, say, scandals happening in other sectors of our human resource in this country, but very little, if any, in our Kenya Defense Forces. But maybe we need to ask ourselves, would they say the same of their living standards, of their working environment, on their remuneration, on the equipment that they use at work? Or do we just have very good human resource, but without elaborate decision and putting resources to making sure that these great men and women have the most conducive work environment? And that is therefore why the operationalization of this fund cannot come at any more handy time in this country, Honorable Speaker. We have seen great presidents across the world have their children, their sons and daughters serve in the army. I could mention Zachary Taylor's son, or Robert Lincoln's, or Roosevelt's 4 sons that were served in the army, among the sons of many distinguished leaders in the world. You know, for President Abraham Lincoln's son, Robert Lincoln, he actually left Harvard University and went straight to become an army person. But maybe how many of us, including us in this house, would send our sons and daughters to our army? How many sons and daughters from, if I call them privileged families, would want to give up Harvard to go and serve in the army of this country? And that question, therefore, Speaker, tells us that we really need to invest our resources. These are in our Kenya Defense Forces, making sure that they live a good life, that they have a good working environment at their workplace, and to make sure that we avail the best resources in terms of equipment at their disposal for the operations. And also, Honorable Speaker, we've seen other countries take care of the retirees of the army, either when they retire or when they get injured at war. But, Honorable Speaker, we've had cases of some of our officers who have lost their speech because of blasts that has happened when they are at war. But, Honorable Speaker, hardly anything being done to help them restore their speech. So you have great soldiers who served this country in a very great way, but because of noise pollution and them being exposed to those blasts, then they lost their voice, they can't speak. And, Honorable Speaker, there isn't a lot that's being done in that particular sector. What you've seen is an attempt to recruit speech therapists in the army, but those speech therapists that work at the KDF hospital are the lowest in cadre in terms of their job group. And therefore, we've not been able to get or to attract the most qualified speech therapists to help these wounded soldiers to recover their speech, Honorable Speaker. And even as we look at making sure that we facilitate our army with the equipment, we really need to consider the well-being, the health, the mental health, the working conditions of these great men and women we really celebrate today for their great work, for their great discipline, and their great resilience in our forces. And that I support, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Agnes Pareyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to